I woke up as the villain in a novel. The female CEO hated my guts and wanted a divorce to be with her one true love. I eagerly signed the divorce papers, getting half of the CEO's assets, then smiled and said, "May you have love, and I'll have wealth." So yeah, I woke up as the villain in a CEO novel. It took me half a day of staring blankly from a 2000 SQ. FD. Bed before I finally accepted it. I reviewed the novel's plot. My name is Ethan Thompson. I've been obsessed with Serena Rivera since childhood, but she's always hated me. So, I used every trick in the book to force her to marry me, and she only agreed due to family pressure. Later, she rekindled things with her old flame and asked me for a divorce. As compensation, Serena Rivera would give me half her fortune. But the original me was desperately in love with Serena Rivera, refused the divorce, kept causing trouble, framed her true love, and ultimately met a miserable end. The original owner wasn't just an idiot. He was hopelessly lovesick. So stupid. So if I want to live a long, healthy life to 99, all I need to do is obediently sign the papers when Serena Rivera asks for a divorce. In the evening, I sat at the dining table waiting for Serena Rivera to come home from work for dinner. After checking my phone for the nth time, Serena Rivera finally returned. She didn't even glance at the food on the table and went straight upstairs. I couldn't be bothered with her either. Eat or don't eat, whatever. I picked up my chopsticks and stuffed some black truffle abalone into my mouth. Delicious. Serena Rivera really has no appreciation for fine dining, always ordering takeout at the office. After finishing my meal, I went upstairs and ran into Serena Rivera, fresh out of the shower and heading to her study to work. She was wearing a bathrobe, her face exquisite, her skin fair. I couldn't help but stare. Serena Rivera shot me a look. "Ethan Thompson, control your eyes." I pouted, looking at her impassive face like I owed her 20 billion. I finally understood that untouchable look. It just didn't do anything for me. Money is way more exciting. My life motto now is stay away from Serena Rivera, cherish wealth. Serena Rivera and I slept in separate rooms. There was no intimacy between us. The original Ethan used to sneak into her room at night to harass her, only to be thrown out every time. His shamelessness was appalling. The next day, I slept until I woke up naturally, then went on a wild shopping spree at the mall. I bought whatever was expensive, not even glancing at anything under six figures. Using Serena Rivera's credit card, of course. The only regret was that I couldn't max out her card. Not my fault, she's just too rich. No worries, I'll continue tomorrow. Although the original Ethan came from a wealthy family, his parents favored his sister, giving her the entire family fortune. Looks like becoming a tycoon is up to me now, or rather, this divorce settlement. Back home, a servant came over and asked what lunch I wanted them to prepare and send to the office. That's when I remembered. The original Ethan sent lunch to Serena Rivera every day, but she never ate it, just threw it straight into the trash. What a waste of food. Besides, why would I bend over backward for someone who gives me the cold shoulder? Am I crazy? I waved my hand. No need. Don't send anything from now on. After lunch, I got a call from Serena Rivera. I had to accompany her to a banquet tonight. Hate me as she might, Serena Rivera still needed to put on a show for the public, keep up appearances. As evening fell, Serena Rivera and I arrived at the banquet. Someone joked, "Mr. Thompson and Ms. Rivera, such a handsome couple. Your children would surely be adorable." Serena Rivera, holding my arm, didn't respond. I smiled and offered a few polite pleasantries, inwardly thinking, asterisk kids? As if, asterisk. All evening, I schmoozed alongside Serena Rivera, my face aching from forced smiles. No feelings, all technique. After a while, the flatterers dispersed, and I finally got a chance to sip some juice, soothe my throat, and shake out my aching legs. So tiring. Even professional actors don't work this hard. But the thought of the money I'd get after the divorce immediately perked me up. I looked down at Serena Rivera as if she were a walking, talking pile of cash. I wonder when we can get divorced. Half her fortune. Sounds amazing. She might be awful, but she's generous. Thinking about that made her look slightly more appealing. Serena Rivera noticed me staring, looked up at my adoring expression, frowned in disgust, and said, "Ethan Thompson, don't you dare fantasize about me falling in love with you. It's impossible in this lifetime." I roll my eyes internally. Asterisk, get over yourself. Asterisk, the only thing I love is money. My dream insult? He's so poor. All he has is money. After the banquet, Serena Rivera and I walked out and saw a man in a white shirt standing not far away. The male lead, Lucas Grant. I immediately clammed down on my right fist. According to the original plot, the moment I saw Lucas Grant, I was supposed to rush over and punch him after which Serena Rivera would slap me. I definitely didn't want to get hit. Besides, I just had an expensive facial this afternoon. Serena Rivera and Lucas Grant met in college. Although Lucas came from a poor background, he was handsome, strong, optimistic, and it was this resilient spirit that attracted Serena. Later, when Madeline Rivera found out about them, she broke them up, offering Lucas Grant $2 million to disappear. Lucas Grant didn't take a penny. Unable to bear Madeline Rivera's insults, he broke up with Serena. If that had been me, I would have haggled. Raise it to $200 million, and I'd have agreed. What's so great about the female lead anyway? She's cold, neither gentle nor cute. She's just good-looking, but looks can't pay the bills. Right then, Lucas Grant was staring stubbornly at us, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. More accurately, he was staring at Serena Rivera, heartbroken to see us together. Don't be sad, man, I thought. Asterisk, it's all just an act between me and the female lead. It's not real. Asterisk. Serena Rivera's expression changed drastically. She hurried towards him, but Lucas Grant turned and walked away. Watching them play out there, he runs, she chases, doomed romance scene, almost wanted to grab popcorn. This novel is a sweet indulgence romance. The main characters get all the sweetness, and I'm just background noise. Serena Rivera managed to catch up and grab Lucas Grant's hand. He turned his face away, deliberately ignoring her. Serena explained anxiously, and then the two hugged tightly. Finally, they walked off hand in hand, completely forgetting I existed. Wow, Serena Rivera's really head over heels. If I weren't the one being cheated on right now, I'd probably applaud them. Just as I turned around to hail a cab, my eyes met a deep, intense gaze. It quickly dawned on me. It was Victoria Rivera, Serena Rivera's older sister, the heiress to Rivera Enterprises, known for her icy demeanor. Looking at her cold, aloof face, I suddenly realized their sour expressions might be hereditary. I politely greeted her, Ms. Rivera. Victoria Rivera scrutinized me. Your wife left you for another man, and you don't seem the least bit upset? Of course I wasn't upset. I wasn't the same lovesick fool anymore. Now, all I wanted was to divorce Serena Rivera, take half her fortune, and live comfortably doing nothing. I lowered my head and sighed. What good would being upset do? Victoria Rivera watched me for a long moment before saying, I'll give you a ride home. Serena Rivera had already left, and getting a taxi here was difficult, so I said, That would be very kind of you, Ms. Rivera. The car ride was silent. When we arrived, Victoria Rivera personally opened the car door for me. Just as I was about to thank her, a shadow fell over me. I looked up at her beautiful face, so close, holding my breath as my heart began to race. To be honest, Victoria Rivera was only 3 years older than Serena Rivera, but she seemed much more mature and serious, difficult to get along with, so I'd always kept my distance. Asterisk, whoa, she couldn't possibly be interested in me, could she? But I don't remember this happening in the book. Asterisk. Victoria Rivera said, coolly, get some rest. I let out a breath of relief. Why did you have to get so close just to talk? Thank you for the ride home, Ms. Rivera. The next few days passed peacefully between Serena Rivera and me. She was busy dating Lucas Grant, and I was busy spending money, shopping malls by day, auction houses by night, trying to maximize my acquisitions while I could. Until one evening, Serena Rivera came home from work and paused, seeing the leftover dinner on the table. Previously, no matter how late she got back, Ethan Thompson would always wait to eat with her. I licked a bit of caviar from the corner of my mouth and said, If you haven't eaten, just have the kitchen make something new. Asterisk, besides, I could probably go for a late-night snack later anyway. Asterisk. Then I stood up, ready to go binge-watch something in the home theater. Serena Rivera spoke up. You've been buying a lot of things lately? I stopped in my tracks. Was she starting to worry about her money? Do you think I've been spending too much? Serena Rivera replied coolly, No, just don't leave the things you buy lying around everywhere. We had separate walk-in closets, right next to each other. Serena Rivera must have seen the stuff I'd bought tossed on the floor. She was a neat freak with obsessive tendencies and couldn't stand clutter. Fine, I'll put away later. Then something occurred to me, and I looked at her. Speaking of which, could you maybe not leave your own socks lying around? You even left a pair by my door once. Serena Rivera's expression darkened. Since when do you get to tell me what to do? Who do you think you are? Asterisk, all right. All right, whatever you say. Asterisk, I didn't argue, changing the subject instead. Anyway, I'm planning a trip to the Maldives. Asterisk, Madeline Rivera would soon find out that Serena Rivera and Lucas Grant were still involved, and she'd want me to deal with Lucas Grant. The original Ethan was jealous enough to want Lucas Grant dead, and with Madeline Rivera's blessing, he'd only escalated his self-destructive actions. Lucas Grant was the male lead, protected by plot armor. Who was I to go up against him? I just wanted to coast. Going on vacation to lie low was my best option. Asterisk. Serena Rivera didn't object. She never cared what I did, as long as I didn't bother her. But while I was lounging in the Maldives, soaking up the sun and admiring the stunningly beautiful women, I got a call from Madeline Rivera telling me to come back immediately. I cursed Serena Rivera under my breath several times. Asterisk, couldn't you have been a little more careful not to get caught by your mother? I hadn't had my fill of the beauties here yet. Asterisk still, I booked a flight back. I had just gotten home when Serena Rivera called. Ethan Thompson, you know perfectly well the person I love is Lucas. Let's get a divorce. I pressed a hand to my racing heart. I hadn't even been this excited when I was reincarnated. Pretending to be calm, I said okay. I agreed readily, but Serena Rivera went silent on the other end. Worried the connection was bad and she hadn't heard me, I prompted her, have you prepared the divorce papers? Serena Rivera asked. You agree to the divorce? I sighed. It's not like disagreeing would change anything. You don't love me, Serena Rivera said. I'll have my assistant send the papers over to the house shortly. Got it. A CEO's assistant is naturally efficient. Half an hour later, I was holding the divorce agreement, my heart pounding as I looked at the settlement amount. I counted the zeros until my fingers cramped. Asterisk, it was more money than I could ever spend. Completely impossible to spend it all. Asterisk, I bit down hard on my lip. Hiss. Ouch. This wasn't a dream. It was real. I quickly signed my name and handed the papers to Serena Rivera's assistant with trembling hands. Ask your boss if we can go finalize the divorce right now. The assistant stared for a couple of seconds, clearly taken aback. This wasn't going how he'd imagined. Asterisk, even if the husband wasn't heartbroken, he shouldn't look this happy. Asterisk, but he did as asked, calling Serena Rivera. Then he told me, Ms. Rivera says yes, she'll send a car for you now. Humming happily, I went upstairs to change. When I came back down, the assistant looked at me, surprised yet again, because I looked even younger and more dashing than I had on my wedding day. I grinned. Asterisk, soon to be a multi-millionaire. Got to mark the occasion. Asterisk. After I got in the car, Serena Rivera looked me up and down and asked, You seem to be in a good mood? The huge grin threatening to split my face froze slightly. I glanced at her. I never got an ounce of affection from you, so what's wrong with getting obscenely rich instead? But the divorce wasn't final yet, so I couldn't be too blatant. I looked at her with feigned heartbreak. Do we really have to get divorced? Just as I expected, she looked disgusted. Serena Rivera said coldly, It's non-negotiable. Asterisk, good. That's settled then. Asterisk, after a moment, she asked, Is there anything else you want to add to the agreement? I smiled. No. Asterisk, perfectly satisfied. Asterisk, my good mood didn't even last 10 minutes before it was ruined. Of all times, we hit traffic. I kept urging the driver to go faster. What if the Civil Affairs Bureau closes before we get there? Serena Rivera gave me a strange look. I offered a reasonable explanation. You're very busy. I didn't want to waste your work time. Seeing the traffic wasn't moving at all, I grew increasingly anxious. I got out of the car and ran ahead to see what the holdup was. Some guy driving while talking on his phone. I went up and knocked on his car window. Hey man, can you get off the phone? I'm in a huge hurry to get divorced. It's an emergency, get it? The guy inside glanced at me. He'd probably seen people getting divorced before, but never someone in such a rush to do it. When I got back in the car, I saw Serena Rivera on the phone, her brow furrowed like something was wrong. After hanging up, she told the driver, Change of plans. We're not going to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Head to the old family estate. Instantly, my mood plummeted. Damn it, Serena Rivera, if you dare back out now, believe me, I'll go kill that money tree in front of your company. But then I reconsidered. No, I can't do that. I need her to keep making money so I can get a bigger cut. We arrived at the estate. Turns out, Madeline Rivera had fainted from anger after finding out Serena Rivera was divorcing me. Arthur Rivera was tearing Serena Rivera a new one. I stood off to the side, silent, my eyes welling up. I'd pinch my thigh until it bruised. Serena Rivera was dead set on divorcing me, refusing to compromise. And I was dead set on getting half her assets, so I had to keep faking my distress. Finally, Serena Rivera knelt right at the main entrance, trying to force her parents, the Rivera elders, to agree to the divorce. Good idea. Coincidentally, the sky opened up and it started pouring rain. I chuckled. Talk about divine intervention. A servant ran over to me. Young master, Madeline Rivera asks you to try and persuade the second miss. I nodded solemnly. Got it. 10 minutes later, I was sitting on the steps, cracking sunflower seeds and watching the woman kneeling in the downpour. I tut-tooted. Quite the drama queen, aren't we? Straight out of a soap opera, rain-soaked sister. The servant couldn't stand watching anymore and went to hold an umbrella over her, but I stopped them. How can they feel sorry for her if she doesn't look miserable enough? I needed her to commit so we could get this divorce over with quickly. Go get me a cup of tea. The servant was stunned. This young master seemed completely different from before. Serena Rivera wasn't very physically strong. She developed a fever after kneeling for just a short while. A pampered rich girl through and through. Gets sick from a little rain. So useless. The servant scrambled to get her to her room and called for a doctor. I glanced at the thermometer. Only 38 degrees. She's not going to die. Then I dismissed the servants. Looking at the pale Serena Rivera propped up in bed, I kindly poured her a glass of water. If we want this divorce finalized quickly, you'll need to try a bit harder. Serena Rivera coughed a few times, looked at me, and asked, "What do you mean?" I gave Serena Rivera a tip. Go on a hunger strike. The tactic worked like a charm. Seeing their sick daughter refusing to eat or drink, the Rivera elders were heartbroken. I was heartbroken too. Every day the money transfer was delayed meant another day of lost interest for me. In the end, they had no choice but to agree to let Serena Rivera divorce me. Madeline Rivera felt guilty towards me. She pulled me into her room and gave me an imperial green jade ornament. She had always been generous to me, often gifting me various valuables. I tearfully hugged her legs, wailing, "Mom, I can't bear to leave you. I can't bear to leave your valuables. Seriously, if it comes down to it, you could just adopt me as your godson." Coming downstairs, I ran into Victoria Rivera. She asked me, "Didn't you love Serena Rivera deeply? Doesn't it hurt you to see her like this?" I had better things to do than feel sorry for her. Like feeling sorry for myself. I hadn't even had my bird's nest soup today. Anyway, Serena Rivera and I were about to get divorced, so I couldn't be bothered to pretend anymore. I shrugged. Being lovesick isn't a terminal illness. I got cured. Victoria Rivera chuckled. I immediately panicked. I'd never seen her laugh before. The book didn't describe Victoria Rivera much, so I didn't know much about her. Just then, we heard a commotion outside. I went out to look and saw Lucas Grant standing outside the gate, demanding to see Serena Rivera. I'm not one to stand in the way of true love, so I told the servants to let him in. Lucas Grant looked at me. "Serena and I knew each other long ago. I didn't interfere in your marriage." I nodded. Of course you didn't. You're the cool, overpowered protagonist of this story, the type who breezes through everything. Meanwhile, I'm the villainous supporting character who gets dragged through the mud no matter what I do. Serena Rivera and I are getting divorced. Lucas Grant paused, surprised. You agreed to the divorce? Hilarious. I'd have to be brain dead not to agree. Only you would treat Serena Rivera like some kind of treasure. I nodded. Yes. Then I led Lucas Grant upstairs. Unexpectedly, Lucas Grant missed a step and his whole body pitched backward. He yelled out. I reached out to grab him, but it was too late. Watching Lucas Grant tumble down the stairs and lie in a pool of blood at the bottom, I was terrified. My right eyelid started twitching uncontrollably. I remembered a scene from the book where I deliberately pushed Lucas Grant down the stairs. But I didn't push him. You gotta be kidding me. At the hospital, Lucas Grant was still in the emergency room. Serena Rivera radiated pure fury, glaring at me as if she wanted to tear me limb from limb. Talk about being framed. Ethan Thompson, you'd better pray nothing happens to Lucas, or I'll make you pay back 1,000 times over. Serena Rivera, are you even human? Have you forgotten who gave you water when you were sick? But thinking about the original Ethan Thompson's miserable fate in the book sent chills down my spine. I instinctively shrank back towards the corner, already picking out coffin styles in my head. I didn't. Serena Rivera glared at me fiercely. Ethan Thompson, still trying to make excuses. I saw it. He didn't push him. A voice cut Serena Rivera off. I turned to see Victoria Rivera appearing as if out of nowhere. Ms. Rivera, my savior. Just then, the operating room door opened. The doctor came out and said Lucas Grant had a concussion and a fractured right leg and would need to be hospitalized. Serena Rivera was frantic with worry and had no time for me. After Lucas Grant woke up, Serena Rivera asked him, "Was it Ethan Thompson who pushed you down the stairs?" Lucas Grant glanced at me, then shook his head. He didn't push me. I lost my footing. I breathed a huge sigh of relief. Okay, so the plot took a weird turn, but at least the male lead's character integrity is intact. Otherwise, I'd have been screwed. Looks like I need to stay far away from them from now on, just in case the plot decides to glitch out again. The next morning, Serena Rivera and I went to finalize the divorce proceedings. After getting the divorce certificate, I couldn't help but burst into tears. I'm finally rich. I wiped my tears and said to Serena Rivera with a smile, "I wish you love, while I'll take the wealth." Without waiting for her reaction, I got into my Maserati and drove off. My divorce settlement from Serena Rivera included several properties. I picked a spacious apartment with a fantastic view to live in. I didn't choose the villa, which was over 1,000 square meters, because I didn't want to shell out the money for staff. After the divorce, I was living the high life. Every morning, the first thing I did was check the interest earned in my accounts. Then I'd spend the day eating, drinking, and traveling. The only downside was when my parents found out about the divorce. They called specifically to chew me out. My divorcing her cost them quite a few benefits. I sent them a large sum of money, and that shut them up. Money isn't everything, but you can't do anything without it. After getting back from Bali, I heard about a decent bar and decided to check it out that night. You got to enjoy the good times while they last. I didn't order any expensive company. I just stuck to having a few drinks. I didn't expect to run into Victoria Rivera there. Looked like she was a regular. Puts on such an ascetic front, but secretly enjoys these kinds of flashy, indulgent places. She spotted me pretty quickly. I took the initiative and greeted her, "Ms. Rivera." I figured it wouldn't hurt to stay on her good side, in case I needed her influence for some tricky situation down the road. Victoria Rivera sat down next to me, a half-smile playing on her lips. "You seem to be doing quite well for yourself after divorcing Serena." I just chuckled evasively, getting by. Victoria Rivera seemed quite proper, though. She didn't order any male companions, just sat there quietly, sipping her drink. She couldn't hold her liquor very well, though. It wasn't long before she was drunk. Seeing it was getting late, I was about to head home, but she suddenly grabbed my hand and wouldn't let me leave. The men in the bar were eyeing her like vultures, all eager for a chance to spend the night with her. I had no choice but to take her with me. When I went to pay the bill, I was stunned to hear that the bottle of wine she'd been drinking cost $150,000. I shot a glare at the very drunk Victoria Rivera. What a spendthrift. Gritting my teeth, I paid the bill. My heart ached. I didn't know where Victoria Rivera lived, and I couldn't exactly take her back to the Rivera estate looking like this. If anyone saw us and got the wrong idea, it would be a huge mess. I was just the disposable supporting character in their drama. Getting taken out would be easy. In the end, the only option was to take her back to my place. If she hadn't spoken up for me at the hospital that one time, I wouldn't have bothered. I carried her into the guest room, put her on the bed, and went back to my own room to sleep. I slept soundly. The next morning, I was woken up by hunger and the smell of cooking. But I don't have any help. Who was cooking? I immediately scrambled out of bed and hurried to the kitchen. And there she was, Ms. Rivera. I never expected she knew her way around a kitchen. Victoria Rivera glanced at me. "Go brush your teeth and wash up. Breakfast is ready." I quickly did just that, taking a moment to shave too. Want to look a bit more presentable. You could tell Victoria Rivera was someone who appreciated the finer things. Even the fried eggs looked perfect. Not like Serena Rivera, who lived off takeout all day. No wonder she had stomach problems. Serve her right. Suddenly remembering something, I cleared my throat. Ms. Rivera. Victoria Rivera looked up. "Yes. Playing dumb, huh? I wasn't about to be taken for a ride. About last night's bar tab. Could you Venmo me the $150,000? Also, if you plan on going to that bar again, maybe give me a heads up so I can stay away." I'd barely finished speaking when my phone buzzed. I looked down. Venmo payment received. $200,000. Why the extra $50,000? A bonus for not abandoning me at the bar last night. I gave a dry laugh. "Just respecting my elders, you know." Victoria Rivera asked coolly, "Are you calling me old?" I immediately realized I'd stepped on a landmine, calling a woman old, and quickly backpedaled. No, Ms. Rivera. You're young and stunning, absolutely gorgeous. I'm the old one here." Running out of compliments, I added, "And the breakfast is delicious too." Only then did Victoria Rivera's expression soften slightly. Wow, being near someone powerful is like being near a tiger. With nothing better to do, I figured I might as well get a job. Victoria Rivera was well-connected, so I called her up and asked if she could help me find something. She thought for a moment. "Actually, my secretary just went on maternity leave. You can fill in for her." My old self was lazy, incompetent, and lacked any real skills. So, a secretarial job, fetching coffee, handling documents, seemed like a good fit. So I accepted. It wasn't until I started the job that I realized Serena Rivera's office was on the same floor as mine. And, just my luck, I ran right into her. What rotten luck. Serena Rivera looked at me with disgust. "Ethan Thompson, we're divorced. Stop following me around like a ghost." Honestly, I couldn't entirely blame her. My past self had been pretty shameless and desperate in his pursuit of her. But I wasn't going to take the blame for his actions. "You've got it wrong," I said. "I'm here to work." Serena Rivera sneered. "You're lazy and good for nothing. What can you do besides spend money? Don't think I don't know you're just looking for an excuse to get close to me." I couldn't be bothered to explain. "Serena Rivera, narcissism is a disease too. You should really get that checked out." Serena Rivera looked momentarily stunned. Naomi would never have talked back to her like that. Without giving her another glance, I turned sharply and walked away, feeling 10 feet tall. That was probably my finest moment in front of Serena Rivera. I'd assumed being a secretary would be an easy job where I could slack off, but I was quickly proven wrong. Victoria Rivera wasn't just a workaholic. She was a force of nature. I was swamped. Forget slacking off. I barely had time to even glance at my phone. Probably sensing I was struggling to keep up, Victoria Rivera offered to treat me to a nice dinner that evening. Instantly, any thoughts I had of quitting vanished. Maybe I could endure this hardship after all. After work, as Victoria Rivera and I stepped out of the elevator, my foot suddenly slipped and I started to fall sideways. With lightning reflexes, Victoria Rivera grabbed my arm, saving me from face-planting on the floor. Our eyes met, and my heart felt like it was about to pound out of my chest. Just then, a voice shattered the moment. "Sis." It was Serena Rivera. She glared at me. "Ethan Thompson, what exactly do you think you're doing? Asterisk, trying to earn a living? When did you get so dense? Asterisk." I steadied myself. "Thank you, Ms. Rivera." Serena Rivera turned to Victoria Rivera. "Sis, this guy's up to no good. Don't let him fool you." Victoria Rivera looked evenly at Serena. "Ethan Thompson is my secretary now. Show him some respect." Asterisk, Ms. Rivera, you're amazing. I could cry. I definitely backed the right horse. Asterisk. Serena Rivera frowned, looking like she wanted to say more, but Victoria Rivera was already pulling me away. Serena Rivera just stood there, dumbstruck. I looked down at Victoria Rivera holding my hand. What was this supposed to mean? During dinner, Victoria Rivera asked me, "Do you still love Serena?" I was busy tackling a king crab. "Don't mention her. Bad juju, it's ruining my appetite." Victoria Rivera laughed again. I really didn't know what was so funny. She's normally so stoic at work, and I was talking about her own sister. After a few days, I got used to the work routine. It was a bit busy, but Victoria Rivera was emotionally stable, unlike Serena, who'd call people useless and tell them to get lost at the drop of a hat. However, my streak of good days didn't last long before I got knocked out right at my doorstep. Before passing out, I thought, asterisk, I need to move. The security here is terrible. Asterisk. When I woke up, I found myself hanging in midair. A fall from this height would turn me into paste. Just thinking about it hurt. Turning my head, I saw Lucas Grant had also been kidnapped. I immediately guessed what kind of trashy drama this was. But couldn't these kidnappers in novels use their brains? Why kidnap me, the ex-husband in name only? I'm no threat to Serena. She's always looking for excuses to get rid of me anyway. Was I just kidnapped for show? Serena quickly showed up with a ransom. Of course, she was there to save Lucas Grant. She never even glanced my way. Turns out the kidnapper was one of Serena's enemies. No, wait. Hey, kidnapper, you've got a beef with her, right? You should have just grabbed Serena herself. Finally, the kidnapper made Serena choose. She could only save one person, me or Lucas Grant. The intention was to make her suffer, choosing between her ex-husband and the man she loved. I really wanted to curse. This plot was exactly what I'd expected. So cliché, I didn't even know where to start. Serena chose to save Lucas Grant without hesitation. I wasn't surprised at all that Serena didn't choose me. I would have been surprised if she had chosen me. Was I going to die here? My life of luxury was just getting started. If I'd known I was going to kick the bucket so soon, I shouldn't have been so cheap at the bar the other night and skipped splurging on those girls. I regret it so much. The rope was cut, and my whole body fell. I squeezed my eyes shut in fear. Unexpectedly, I didn't feel much pain. Opening my eyes, I saw a thick cushion beneath me. Victoria Rivera was squatting beside me. "How are you? Are you hurt?" Clearly, she had saved me. I grabbed her clothes, crying with gratitude. "Ms. Rivera, I'll spend my next life slaving away like an ox to repay you. This life is for enjoying myself." After saying this, I fainted from fright. When I woke up again, I found myself lying in a hospital bed, feeling weak all over. Having survived such an ordeal, I figured good fortune must be heading my way. When I heard Serena was injured and in the room next door, I practically shot up in bed. I want to be discharged. I needed to get far away from Serena before I got tangled up in her drama again. Victoria Rivera came in. The nurse said, "You want to be discharged?" I nodded. "I'm fine now." Being in the same hospital as Serena was the problem. Who knew if another enemy might show up? She pisses so many people off. Victoria Rivera pushed me back onto the bed. Lie down. Rest. Ms. Rivera, listen to me. I had to listen to her. After all, she saved my life. But I was still really scared, so I grabbed her arm and said, then don't leave. Victoria Rivera hummed in agreement. Although she wasn't much of a talker, she was incredibly reliable. I slept for a while. The test results came back. All my vitals were normal. Looked like living to 99 wasn't going to be an issue. After completing the discharge procedures, Victoria Rivera asked me, Serena is in the next room. Do you want to go see her? Visit her? Hell no. She almost got me killed. I immediately shook my head. No way. Leaving the room, I still ran into Serena and Lucas Grant. Serena got hurt chasing the kidnappers, but it wasn't serious. I hid behind Victoria Rivera. Ms. Rivera, let's go quickly. Victoria Rivera took my hand. Don't be afraid. I instantly felt a surge of confidence. Serena looked at me. Sissy. Victoria Rivera snapped. Shut up. Seeing Serena's constipated expression, my mood improved considerably. Ms. Rivera was incredible. Then Victoria Rivera boldly led me right past them. Walking out of the hospital lobby, I looked down at our intertwined hands. There was no way I could play dumb anymore. Ms. Rivera. Victoria Rivera stopped walking. I held up our clasped hands, licked my lips, and said, holding hands. I don't mind that, Ms. Rivera, but you... Before I could finish, Victoria Rivera leaned down and kissed me. My mind instantly went blank. I didn't know how to react. This wasn't in the script. Victoria Rivera straightened up, her gaze scorching hot. I felt my face flush, so hot, I could probably fry an egg on it. I wanted to find a hole to crawl into. That was my first kiss. Victoria Rivera's pleasant voice asked with a smile, Do you want Serena calling you brother-in-law? I pictured it, burst out laughing, and nodded vigorously. Yes. Just like that, Victoria Rivera and I were together. I just didn't expect Serena to come looking for me. I was busy preparing to move into a big villa. Ethan Thompson, you just want money, right? I'll give you 20 million. Leave my sister. So, she was here to buy me off. Just as I was about to speak, someone hugged me from behind. Turning around, I saw it was Victoria Rivera. She looked down at me. Ethan, I'll give you 200 million. Marry me. I wrapped my arms around Victoria Rivera. I wasn't planning on taking her offer. Seriously? As if I'd settle for a measly 20 million. Victoria Rivera asked, So, will you marry me? I looked steadily at her. Yes. Then I looked over at Serena. What are you looking at? Call me brother-in-law. Serena's expression turned ugly, but under the pressure of Victoria Rivera's stare, she still choked out, brother-in-law. I swept Victoria Rivera into my arms. Let's go get our marriage license.